Every week, a new band. Brought to you by NZ On Air. Active Live! Yeah.
Kia ora koutou katoa, kei te whakaronga mai koe ki te Active Live FM, and today's Active Live session made with support from New Zealand On Air. I'm Amidia, and we are joined live in studio by the wonderful Taylah. How's it going?
Kia ora, I'm doing well. How are you?
It's been a while since we've had you in station. How does it feel to be back down into Whanganui-a-Tara?
I love it. I love coming down here, especially to Radioactive. I was saying before that it feels like coming to like an old friend's flat. You know, it just feels so comfy here. So I love coming here. But no, I love it. I love Wellington. Coming down from Tamaki. It's only barely been like 6 months, so I still feel like I'm coming back home when I come to Wellington.
That's still a long time. What have you been up to up there?
Yeah, I've been very indulgent lately. I've been able to have a studio space and focus like all of my time on songwriting. So I've been able to kind of like explore a lot of the spaces of where I want to take my music, which is, I realize, is a very luxurious thing to have. But also trying to learn how to produce music as well. Like, or at least get it to a point that it's not terrible.
Yeah, that's really cool. How has that been different from what you were doing before?
Well, I guess it was even more indulgent when I was here because I had a amazing producer, Toby Lloyd of Tiny Triumph. Incredible. So he was just this mastermind that I had the luxury to work with. And sadly, he's not in Auckland. So I've had to figure out how to do some stuff myself. But it's kind of still trying to get my footing in Auckland and figure out sort of where I want to sit, you know? So I'm taking some time to figure out sort of what my show is going to be and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So is this part of creating an album or?
I have 2 or 3 songs that are ready to be released. So we're in the process of getting all of that stuff all together. So that will be within the year, and I'm looking at an album for next year.
Ooh, exciting. How or when can we hear some of these singles coming up?
We're still in the mastering process for them. So once those are all done, then it'll be me advertising to get those singles out.
Cool.
So, yeah, my last single release was in March, which is a song called Okay. So yeah, kind of very much kind of trying to get into that flow of songwriting at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of that single Okay, it's really cool and it contains quite a personal message. Tell me about writing that song. What was that like?
Yeah, I was actually like flicking through a old photo album and I came across this photo of me when I was little. And I looked so feral. I was like, I had like missing teeth and I had my like hair all over the place. I was in my pajamas. And I kind of looked at that girl and I was like, had this really sentimental moment of being like, she's going to go through a lot of stuff in her life. And like kind of seeing the innocence in that young girl. And so it's a kind of like a song that I wanted to sing if I had the opportunity to talk to her. So it's kind of just the idea of being like, you're going to go through things in life, but you're going to be okay. You're going to it's going to feel like a really hard time for you, but you're going to like get to a point where you realize those things were necessary, you know? So I also had the honor of working with Nico. So he put a open verse on that song and it was exactly what I wanted to like finish the little cherry on top for that track. So.
Oh, cool. What was the experience of collaborating with Nico like?
Oh, so easy. Honestly, it was like, I sent him some other songs that I was like, this is kind of the universe I want it to sit in. And he sent me kind of a first draft and I was like, I think there's a couple little things that, you know, maybe we could try. And then he sent the second draft through and I was like, I couldn't have thought of a better verse than what is on the track right now. So that was a second go.
Gosh, yeah.
So it's so easy for him. So it was really cool to work with someone who just kind of like owns their space, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's a really special song. How do you feel about sharing these personal musical narratives with an audience?
That's a good question. I think because I've been doing songwriting for so long as like almost like a therapy thing for myself, And so I have so many songs that I've written that I haven't released, but I guess I get to a point with finishing off certain songs that I'm like, actually, this feels like it would resonate with more than just myself.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the songs that I feel like are ready to release are ones that I feel like are worth sharing with other people. And it's been amazing, the process of like releasing music, because I've had so many people, you know, reach out to me, even friends I know who have like shared their message of how they connected with those lyrics and been like it's almost like you're in my head, you know? And I'm like, wow, like it feels like an honor to have people's attention and for them to come back and be like, you know, share the same thing. So
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling to have. What would be your biggest piece of advice for people looking to share music that's personal to them in that way?
That's also a good question. I think it depends. I think it's like figuring out what feels authentic for yourself in terms of what you're happy to share. I think that's a big thing because, like, I guess that's the part of the world we live in now is everything's so public. So kind of finding a space where you're like, I do feel comfortable sharing this story. And like, I'm sure every other songwriter feels like there's something that other people will resonate with, you know. But also like kind of just like finding your own space. You know, I think performing has been a huge process of like helping me feel comfortable because it feels like being able to envision myself connecting with people in person with those lyrics is a whole other level to realizing the impact that you can have as a songwriter. So
yeah, it's kind of
get
something
out
you
there.
have to learn, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So speaking of, would you like to play a song for us this afternoon?
Yes. This first one I'm going to do is a song called Descendant, which I released last year, end of last year, which is about my whakapapa. It's about my family. And so it's probably one of the more important messages, I think, that I've written about. So yeah, this one's called Descendant. I am whole, I am strong, I am independent. I will flow, I belong, I am your descendant. No one can make me feel less, 'cause I'm made in your likeness. I am worthy, I am loved, I am well supported. I am flesh, I am soul, I'm here because you fought it. Time don't make that go away. With you I feel less afraid. With you I feel less afraid. With you I feel less afraid. Your hands place the stone that I walk alone, and I stand with pride in my home, 'cause I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I am here, I am time, I am born of power. I am earth, I am dust, the claim we have is ours, and they can take that right away. Yeah, 'cause you are running through my veins, running through my veins, through my veins, my veins, my veins. I am whole, I am strong, I am independent. I will flow, I belong, I am your descendant. I am worthy, I am loved, I am well supported. I am flesh, I am soul, I'm here because you fought it. I am here, I am time, I am born of power. power. I am earth, I am dust, the claim we have is ours. I am whole, I am strong, I am independent. I will flow, I belong, I am your descendant. I am worthy, I am loved, I am well supported. I am flesh, I am soul, I'm here because you fought it. I am here, I am time, I am born of power. I am earth, I am dust, the claim we have is ours. I am whole, I am strong, I am independent. I will flow, I belong, I am your descendant.
Wow, no mai hoke mai ki te active live with Taylah. That was a powerful ode to your family.
Thank you.
How did you get into writing music?
I think my musical journey started with kapa haka. So I think traditionally with kapa haka, it's all songs that you're being given, but I feel like there's this power when you're standing with the rōpū and having kind of singing songs that mean something to you, that I kind of realized the power of what that can do. And so I started writing some songs kind of around the same time, which I kind of like looked through my old songbook recently and I was like cringing at all of them. But I thought it's kind of like just like has never left my life. Like I haven't started releasing music until 2020, but I'd been writing music from like 14. So it's kind of like only just recently has it felt like something that I really feel happy and confident to share with people. And I'm really glad I waited because it's been like so rewarding and it's something that I just like still feel strongly about, like the songs that I released in 2020.
Yeah, that's a beautiful process. You also recently released a flat session video.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. The foliage, the whole setup is
thank
such
you.
a sight to see. Where was that filmed?
That was at my old flat. Yeah, it was so cool. I had the awesome Ben Stewart, who was another local Wellington musician who's now flown over to London, but with his production company, Studio Half Grey. So they're still going, but it was really cool to use my space, like use my flat, which is really funny because my second release, I did a music video called For Undies, that song that I released. That one was also released, filmed in the same flat. So it's like, I just felt so comfortable that I was like, this feels right for filming and feeling comfortable, you know. So yeah, I just like, the house was already full of plants.
Oh, really?
So it was that's just what it looked like.
That's so cool. And your whole band is there for that
Yeah.
video. What was that like?
Oh, so cool. I kind of took my time with like figuring out, I think, who would be awesome within the dynamic of my band. And the guys that I have in there now, which is, we have Luther, Harrison, Bryn, and Sam, who will be joining me tomorrow night. They just have this chemistry within themselves, which is really, really cool. So it means that I feel like I don't have to be this leader of the band, you know, like it doesn't feel super authentic for me. So just being able to jam with just some incredibly talented humans that can hold their own space is like such a privilege.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you all look so comfy in the video. How do you find playing venue gigs in comparison to intimate performances like that where you're sitting on the floor barefoot?
That's a good question, actually. I feel like my preferred way is like the video, sitting on the floor and like kind of just like jamming, because as I was growing up, I had so many friends who every weekend we would just jam, and it would be like non-stop, and just like, and it wasn't just like if you're a musician you can join. It was like this space where anyone who had anything to share could join. So like that's kind of my preferred space. So when I perform on stage, I do try to harbor that energy. So I try to kind of create an energy that people in the audience don't feel like there's this big separation between you are the audience, I am your entertainer, you know? And I think that's come from doing solo stuff. I think that's been really good to like figure out how I feel comfortable on stage, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an interesting performance dynamic. Do you have like a ritual or a system to stay grounded when you're performing and negotiate that relationship?
Um, I think I definitely need time before a show, like time to myself. Um, but I think it's just really like that time allows me to check in with myself, to figure out how I feel that day. Because I think I realized quite early on that trying to be this huge charismatic personality all the time wouldn't feel authentic for anyone. Some people are really good at it, but I think being able to check in, especially when I'm writing songs that feel this deep to me, that I'm like, I should really ask myself first how I feel, because I think that translates to how the audience will feel too. So if I'm feeling vulnerable, then allowing that space, you know. And I have had gigs where I've like shown some of my own songs and like the crowd feels like they respond in a completely different way. And then there are other times that I feel like incredibly charismatic and loud and big, and that also reflects in how they feel. So
Wow, yeah, and so it just depends on the day what kind of gig you get when coming to see Taylah.
yeah, exactly. So I I did have one gig. I think it was my last gig, my leaving gig at Rogue, and I was like feeling a little bit like oh, you know, kind of doubtful. And as I was driving there, I was like, who cares? I was saying this to myself. I was like, who cares? Who cares? And I just kept saying it. And by the time I got to the venue, I was actually so gassed up that I was like having to like pull it back, because I was honestly in this like, who cares? Like, I was like, that's not really the energy you should bring to a gig. But it did help me be like, this is your show. It doesn't matter. Feel how you feel, because who cares? You know, and that actually felt incredibly liberating. So I managed to like pull myself out of it by the end. But yeah.
Yeah, and how does that reflect in your feeling after performing?
Oh, I think something happens on stage. Like no matter how tired or exhausted you are, you just kind of like being on stage and sharing your own music, just like, I don't know, I think you just don't think about it, you know? Like I finish the gig and I always feel so grateful that I get to do this. Like I get to do it as a job. I get to do it at all. And it's my own music. Like just all of these things just feel so like privileged to me, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. Would you like to play another track for us?
Yes. I think I'm going to do a track called Graphic. I released this one last year. And this was kind of, I wrote this one over lockdown, obviously spending too much time on a phone and seeing so much stuff on social media and being like, why does my brain hurt now after spending 3 hours looking at other people's lives? So yeah, this one's Graphic. My brain is sore, it got me walking out the door, but I'm fine. That's not the first lie. My skin is raw, my knuckles dragging on the floor, and my mind has seen better times. Time. They say never try to seek social validation, but you're worth a lot more if you pay, hun. Leave a little less to the imagination. Sweetheart, that's what you're facing. Everybody says this is for me. I just want to share my originality while you feed the machine. Stuck on your screen, addicted to dopamine. I just didn't get it. Wanted to be something else. I couldn't celebrate myself. Just not photographic. I think that I'm losing my mind. La da 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 da. Ooh. da da da. Ooh. I guess what's in order is a congratulations, 'cause you brainwashed a whole generation. Got us thinking that we're not worth enough, and we hurt enough. It's just exploitation. I'm not a commodity to be sold. Yeah, you got a lot of audacity you need to uphold. I don't care for your attitude. Why not share gratitude and let's break this mold? I just didn't get it. Wanted to be something else. Couldn't celebrate myself. Just not photographic. I think that I'm losing my mind. I've had enough of seeing you suffer. Stop living for others. Yes, I am your sister, a scream to a whisper, ally and uplifter. But I am no exception to a distorted self-perception. But the power that I mention is our time and our attention. My brain is sore, it got me walking out the door, but I'm fine. That's not the first lie. My skin is raw, my knuckles dragging on the floor, and my mind has seen better times.
Woo! Taylah here live in studio for Active Live. Is that a song you're going to be playing tomorrow night?
Yes, I'm excited for that one. I've got a few friends coming who particularly enjoyed that track. So it's like extra special seeing people who know the words singing them back to you. So yeah, I'm excited to sing that one.
Yeah, exciting. You're playing at San Fran as part of the Soul City gig with a bunch of other DJs and musicians. What are you looking forward to about that one in particular?
Oh, I'm so excited for Boomshack. Honestly, I've had, since I've been promoting it, I've had so many friends being like, oh, Boomshack are awesome. So just kind of having a whole evening of like retro soul R&B music just like feeds me. I love the idea of it being a whole lineup of that. And then Louis TM also is an incredible artist. So there's just so many amazing humans who are going to be standing on that stage doing what they love. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. What do you enjoy about playing with other musicians in a set like that where there's all sorts of different stuff going on?
Well, what I love about Wellington specifically is like it's such a community here that the moment you've done a show with someone, like you're kind of buddies after that. Like, you know, you're like on each other's radar and you're like, oh, you know, because I actually met Louis like a couple months ago and was like mentioned that I was doing the show with him. And like since then it feels like we like are like following each other and stuff. And like, you know, because I had listened to his music a few years ago and I was like so excited to be playing a show with him. So just kind of the community aspect of it, to be able to just to share a stage with like such awesome, you know, humans.
Yeah, that's really fun. And this gig is part of the citywide Eat, Drink, Play festival.
Yeah.
Are there any other events as part of that you're interested in going to?
Well, yes. It just so happens that the other main show I really wanted to go watch is also tomorrow night, which is Zoe Moon and Wallace playing at Rogue. I'm like, oh.
It's
Why?
always the way. Too many cool things going on.
Yes. Yeah, there's just so many like amazing musicians here. Like it's so compact into this beautiful little city that there's just, you could go to any of the shows for Eat, Drink, Play and you'll be amazed by what you see.
Amazing. And what are you up to when you get back to Auckland then?
So this is kind of starting a journey of me getting, so the show that I've created for tomorrow night is going to be something that I'm going to start pushing towards the warmer months. So essentially as we come into more of that festival season and more stuff happening, there'll be more Taylah shows. So that's the plan.
Stuff. Well, it's been such a pleasure having you in studio this
Thank you.
afternoon. You've got a couple more tracks left for us.
Yes, I do.
Want to take it away? What's this next
Yeah.
one about?
This one's called Line and Sinker, which is about tangaroa, but it's also specifically kind of about the relationship that Māori gods have with each other, and how instead of just seeing them as these kind of mythical people that kind of have space over each area, but more as like we have someone to keep us accountable. So specifically about the ocean, that tangaroa isn't just kind of a god of the sea, but he's someone who we meet and we face when we have anything to do with the ocean. So it's kind of about personifying that idea. Yeah, this is Line and Sinker. The power of words often get overlooked, but the ones you said to me got me hooked. Line and sinker, you thought I want a seeker, but first I need a freer, and now I'm falling deeper in eyes that seem to know the truth. So I succumb to the tide. The ocean is high, the waves subside, and now I'm fine. But you and I are so divine when oceans collide. But you got me hooked, line and sinker, line and sinker, line and sinker. Oh, you got me hooked, line and sinker, line and sinker, line and sinker. We swell, we come and we go, we ebb and we flow. Let you wade in the water and give you room to grow. But you and I are so divine when oceans collide. But you got me hooked, line and sinker, line and sinker, line and sinker. Oh, you got me hooked, line and sinker, line and sinker, line and sinker. Awake on your surface, baby, don't be nervous. You were what I worship. Oh, you got me hooked, line and sinker, line and sinker, line and sinker. I wanna see you later, meet at the equator. I wanna see you later, meet at the equator. I wanna see you later, meet at the equator. I wanna see you later, meet at the equator.
That was none other than Taylah here in studio for an active live session made with New Zealand On Air, who you can see play tomorrow night as part of the Soul City gig at San Fran. Tickets are still available for that one on Moshtix. Up in Amidia, ka kite.
Active Live. Friday, 3:30. Every week a new band. In studio. Brought to you by NZ On Air.